I knew I was going to become a PGA pro, but I knew that wasn't how my life was going to end up. The only thing that really mattered to me since I was a kid was music. Do I tell him I'm a PGA professional and, like, rock singer?
And that's the story of how Elvis died. If you believe that he died.
You know how many times, like, we've had calls, though, back in the day from people passing out on the toilet? It was horrible.
Really?
Oh, my goodness. 'Cause, okay, they're always naked, and they fall off, but the toilet's usually right next to a wall. So they get stuck between the toilet and the wall. And then you have to try to drag someone out of it. Absolutely miserable. I don't miss it at all.
What?
I was a paramedic. Yeah, okay, yeah.
So much.
A little bit more context.
Yeah. That was, dude, the context is going to be so interesting today.
It's going to be like, rewind?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, dude, I just go to old people's house, like, oh, you passed out? I got you.
Oh my gosh. No.
And then I had to unwedge a geezer between an Oval Office and a wall.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a normal Thursday
I had to
night.
get Gary out from between the wall and the John.
It was a call that I got. Typical Tuesday.
Yeah.
All right, sorry. Well,
No, yeah, we're going. Yeah, we're going.
excuse me.
Yeah, this
I didn't say any of that.
It wasn't.
Sorry, Gary. Sorry, John.
Like I said, blackmail.
Yeah,
Blackmail.
It's for the Patreon that we'll have up one day, hopefully.
Right.
We'll get there. But yeah,
People be like, who's this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we got Kory Braman here. Braman.
Braman.
We got Kory Braman here. I said that right. I think I did.
Sure.
Close enough.
He is. Everybody says it all kinds of ways.
It's all like my last name.
Flamel.
But he is a PGA pro golfer and the lead singer of the band Kompass. It is great to have you on.
Thank you. It's great to be on, man.
Yeah,
Is that what everybody says? It's great to be here.
it's like that. Yeah, the dinner. Oh, it's great to be here. Yes.
Well, you should believe me when I say, it is great to be here. It's great.
He means it. He means it. But it's funny because like when we started making this podcast, you were always in mind to get on the podcast.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Getting people to talk a lot and then great stories is always
I can talk.
podcasts are about. And we're going to be here till midnight.
Oh, yeah.
So we're doing.
Yeah,
Right on.
yeah, we'll have to
Challenge
extend it cut on the Patreon once it actually comes.
Yes, sir. But so PGA pro golfer.
Wow. That was a lot.
And it is.
It's quite
It
a
is.
title.
It's not a lot of people have that title, and it's very intimidating. But how did that come about? Like, just wake up one day, you're like, I'm going to be a pro golfer.
Actually, I've never had to give this answer before because nobody's ever actually asked that. Well, nobody's asked it. Let me just say it like this. I've never honestly answered that question, and I'll say it now. It was sort of like a light version of a manifest. You know how you manifest it. You're the one doing the thinking, the believing that it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's like Manifest Light. It's the Bud Light of manifests. Instead, it was like implanted in there for me. I always thought there was something on the trail
Mm-hmm.
on my life path that would eventually take me to something vaguely professional in the world of golf. It was always a desire once I started playing golf, but I didn't know how it was going to happen or where it was going to go. But it felt like it was going to happen anyways, unless I ran away from it, basically. It was like one of those.
Yeah.
So, long story short, I find a program to go to this one college, get like the extra big version of the PGA certification, because there are two kinds. You can become a PGA professional through apprenticeship or through the educational route, the collegiate route, where you do everything the apprenticeship would do, but you add college on top of it.
Okay.
It makes it a little bit more conventional to do both, so you don't have to choose one or the other. Mm-hmm. And as a guy who went the collegiate route, there are some serious benefits there, because in order to become a pro, you have to go through all these like seminars. You have to pass what's called a PAT. Actually, there's only one time you have to prove you're a good enough golfer, and it's that PAT. Everything else is purely intellectual content that you have to absorb and prove that you know.
Wow. I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
There's only one time you have to prove you're good enough, and it's 36 holes in one day. You have to shoot, like a pair of 77s? Which I know a scratch golfer who failed it. He was like a .8 handicap or something silly low like that.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, .8, that's quite a decimal. You know, what about that?
Yeah.
Man, USGA is taking itself seriously. Wow, my gosh. And he's told me I have not I haven't shot in the 80s since I was in 10th grade. He told me this guy was a stud.
Yeah.
He did not have to work hard to get into this program, the PGA program, the PGM program. Technically, when you're still not quite a pro yet, you're in the educational route, the collegiate version. I think that's PGM. And he just said, I haven't shot 80 since I was a sophomore, and I did it twice. Or he did it once, but then he came back. He shot so far over the mark that he shot a 69 on the way back on the second 18.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter.
Right.
He still missed it by 3 strokes.
Wow.
He shot high in the 80s.
Yeah.
I did see him at one point during that PAT because I played the same time he did. And I saw something that looked like it was out of a cartoon. His golf swing looked like an abomination of nature. And I've never seen this man fall out of the form of perfection. So to see that from him, it was like seeing Arnold Schwarzenegger turn into Scooby-Doo on the weights, you know?
Wow.
Absolute goofball, nothing going well for him. And that was presumably the time when he was shooting way up in the high 80s, yeah. The benefits of going the collegiate route come in when you go to these seminars. People usually travel to them. I didn't have to. It was at the university.
Oh.
And they brought in big wigs. One year we were supposed to have Butch Harmon come in.
Oh.
And give the seminar. And the seminar is not one day. It's 3 days, 12 hours at a time. They pack it in.
Jeez.
That's a seminar. When you're stuck in you can't even, you're stuck in town for 3 days. Only to go back to class Monday morning. There's no partying.
No.
There's no hard partying. And yeah, so we didn't get Butch, but we got like everybody else. And I'm very thankful for going that way, even though like I said, I knew I was going to become a PGA pro, especially after I found out that was the route to go. But I knew that wasn't how my life was going to end up. I knew that wasn't the ultimate goal.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. I knew it was an accomplishment that would happen.
It's more of like you're searching for achievements. It's like, okay, you've unlocked this achievement. It's like time to go to the next one.
Sure. Yeah, the only thing that really mattered to me since I was a kid was music. But I couldn't say that because people didn't see me actively involved in music.
Okay.
So I couldn't play that card socially. I couldn't say, oh yeah, I want to be a famous rock star one day. Do you play in a band? No. Do you play an instrument? No. Do you sing? No. Well, that sounds like you've got it really...
That's
good luck. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got a great plan. Yeah. Because I was a garbage singer forever.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't even sing in public until I was a senior in high school. Wow. Yeah. And people said I did good, but I have the footage. I was flat, man, flat. I was flat. There was nothing good about it. A lot of charisma, a lot of rays of personality coming out. That was all that was working for me. But anyways.
Sometimes personality is all you need. To be.
Yeah, you're right. If Mick Jagger can make it, anybody can make it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Some people out there don't even have personality.
Yeah, exactly. I can't call anyone out by name because, I don't have a fantastic voice, but I've definitely seen some singers rocking the stage that, don't have what I would call the prima donna voice.
Oh,
It reminds me of that clip. Remember, I think it was X Factor, that dude sang, and he was awful, and Demi Lovato was making saying, hey, like, you know what? Music's not for everybody. Like, not everyone has a good voice. And he's like that's why I use auto-tune and I don't.
Trump Simon Cowell is like...
Wait, do you remember that guy? He went viral on American Idol, and his name was William Hung.
Great name.
Wait,
What are the legends?
do you remember this clip? Okay, so it was a guy who went on, and
you go by Bill Hung sometimes.
it goes by Bill Hung. No, it's better. He was from Asia. Could not really speak English that well. Went on to go sing this song. I can't remember what the song was called, but you got to look up William Hung on YouTube. And this guy sang, and it was flat out horrendous, like flat out offensive. You might even say it was egregious. Like, it was just the worst singing that you've ever heard. And, Simon Cowell made sure to let him know, obviously, that this was the worst sound that he had ever heard grace his ears. But he went viral, and now he got to make his own album. He made a Christmas album. He made a Christmas album called Hung for the Holidays. And it's on Spotify.
That's beautiful.
We always say the internet's such a bad place, but I love it so much sometimes.
Yeah.
Because stuff like that would not exist.
No, not at all.
Before we go down too far rabbit holes, PGA. So you're a PGA pro,
Yeah.
and I know there's tour pros.
That is a good point. Yes.
What's the major difference?
This is the difference in a nutshell. Tour pro is the tour,
Okay.
right? They play on the tour. But the PGA Tour only exists because of the PGA. So the PGA Tour is the little bubble inside of the big bubble.
Okay.
There's a lot of things inside this big bubble, and this big bubble is the PGA of America. And gotta specify.
Yeah.
And that's what's in there. So that tour pro, you can be a tour pro, but not be a PGA pro. Interesting thing.
Oh, I did not know that.
And the PGA Tour was dedicated for the working PGA professionals. But as time went on, it was a little bit less, the PGA professional being on the PGA Tour became a little bit less common until it's basically how we have it today, which if you're a PGA certified professional, you basically admitted that you're not getting on tour. It's not saying that it can't happen because that's what the PGA Championship is. It does open it up a lot more easily for PGA professionals.
Okay.
You know how you can try out for the U.S. Open. You just go to these trials, place high enough, do enough of these, I don't know if they call them trials, I should know that, but you go and try out. But it's not a tryout, it's a tournament where you have to qualify to, and there's so many rounds. And you go to the U.S. Open and maybe do okay. For the PGA Championship, they have the same thing, but you have to be a PGA professional to even try out. So it's really dedicated to PGA professionals.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Like I knew it was like in the bubble, but I didn't realize that the tour pros were like not necessarily PGA pros.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's super.
That's how I understand it. Yeah. It's very semantical.
That was sort of like the big deal, like why it was a big deal when the LIV tour came around, right? And like
Livy,
yeah, because the PGA basically took away their membership, right? And that's why they weren't allowing them to play.
Threatened to, yeah.
Oh, so did they actually not? Because I know now they can play in the tournaments, right?
Yeah, because I think they knew what the writing on the wall was.
They're losing out on money.
Well, they were probably going to lose out on attendance more than anything because the LIV Tour is very prosperous for those who play on that tour.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't make the same figures on the PGA Tour, and I don't understand the politics of it. I stayed away from that, actually. I did not read up on that. I just stayed away from it.
Yeah.
I knew where it was going to go. I felt the tension before the tension was there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was like the calm before the storm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was like the only one that I knew that felt that calm before the storm, and it was stormy when it came around. That was all people talked about for so long, in and outside of the PGA realm.
Mm-hmm.
I just was. What's your opinion, Kory? I don't know. I'm sitting back here. Yeah, plead the fifth. That's right. That's a good one.
That was crazy when that happened. I think it's interesting. I don't know. I'm not like super intricate into like what goes on with all the golf stuff. I like the little bit of tension. Like I think it's funny. It adds to the lure of the tournaments. Like oh my, like when I saw like Brooks Koepka playing the Masters and he was doing super well against people. Like it was the first time they were back.
Mm-hmm.
And like okay, like, that's sick. Like I know how Rory was talking to all those guys and on the internet beat was there.
Yeah.
It was like, this is sick.
I was just going to say.
The competitiveness. And there's that stuff that no one really wanted to talk about. You know, it's like no one wanted to talk about the huge elephant in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Like the time Rory McIlroy wore a long shirt when he was playing at the Memorial in Columbus, and it was 98 degrees.
Or the hoodie. That was him, wasn't it? Rory McIlroy.
Was it a hoodie?
Yeah,
I just know he had long
Yeah.
sleeves. If people were like,
I think it was
"What
a
are you
hoodie.
doing?"
People freaked out about it because they were like, "Oh, he's not wearing a polo," or like he's not wearing a button down or something like that.
It was to cover his arms.
Yeah. You know
You
what?
know why?
Oh, tattoos.
No.
No.
That's
No.
not the story. I didn't have tattoos. That's not the story. Yeah.
Do you have the story? What's the story?
Can I indulge this story?
We would love.
Rory, you didn't. Yeah. Man.
You won't be watching
Yes.
this.
Unless.
Watch it. Let me see a followed DM from.
It's like, hey, take that
I want to
down.
know if this is true. You should fact check me on this. Then again, probably if it is true, his PR team will fact check and be like, "That didn't happen."
Yeah.
I'll leave it vague then, just so it doesn't splash back on me. Since after all, I am a PGA professional. No, little bubble, big bubble, but it's still a significant bubble.
Yeah.
Had something to do with a fine little lass. He was very, very engaged with, but not actually marital-wise. And got the freaky going.
Oh my god.
There's a bit of a hotel hookup action there.
Oh my god.
And, there might have been a moment where one of them, well, technically both of them, were on top of a glass table.
Mm.
Where do you think the scratches on the arms came from?
Yeah.
Somebody broke through that table.
Oh my god.
I heard the story from somebody who saw a broken glass table.
Yeah.
The side of the, yeah. Well, they didn't work at the hotel, but they were somehow on the inside of that story, and that was amazing to hear.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, I heard that.
That's
one.
I love this like you slipping the accent too.
I don't even know what that was. That was a dirty, like, mixed, confused Scot-Irish thing.
It's perfect. If someone hears this, they wouldn't even know it's you. We said someone just come in and say that, and
They just wore the same getup.
yeah, it just came in.
Put a cartoon AI
Yeah.
filter over me.
You know, I think actually Rory only listens to podcasts on Apple.
Yes.
And there's no videos on Apple, it's just audio. So there's no way that he can even tell it's you.
Oh,
So you're safe.
Yes, you're safe.
cool.
No, but going back to the other one, I love the like inclusion of LIV back into PGA tournaments because, like you said, there's like this like new.
It's just now in, you know.
Yeah.
Well, it was never in.
Well, I mean, they were kind of banned for a little bit, right?
Oh, very banned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say I love it because there's like an added like tenseness in all of the tournaments that you can tell it's like it's no longer just golfers against golfers. It's kind of like it's got that Ryder Cup feel where it's France, it's the U.S. versus the rest of the world. It's the LIV golfers versus the PGA golfers, kind of. Yeah, it is.
Is that
I
what
mean,
it is now?
I think so. I think it adds like a new like.
That's what I felt.
Yeah.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so how do you keep up your card? That's something I've actually wanted to ask you.
How do I keep up my card?
Yeah, like is there like continue education? You have to like sign up, say, hey, I want to do this. This,
Yeah.
This. Okay.
And pay your dues.
Okay.
It's exactly like the schematic or whatever. It's exactly like the program you'd follow as a doctor.
Okay.
You pay your dues to whatever organization, national organization it is, and you have to prove you have continued education under your belt. You do that, and you can keep your license as a doctor. It's the same thing. I actually at one time did refer to my golf student base as my practice.
Okay. Yeah.
Because by the time I was paying dues and I was a PGA professional, and I knew that was the same construct used in medicine for doctors, I felt like I was a golf doctor.
Pretty much are like
Dr. Braman.
Plus, if you, yeah, and Dr. Bragan, Dr. Bragan is taken. Dr. Bragan, and you did Dr. Braman is taken.
Yeah.
That was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What a day to live. All right. So,
Like live golf.
who was I there?
Yeah. It's a big game they'll play and watching a podcast. But if you say doctor, it's funny because I remember we were golfing one day and I said, hey, how do I hit a draw? And he was like, you just move your feet. I'm like, all right, bet. And I just hit it. And I did it. But it went nowhere near the green. and you go, did you mean to do that? I'm like, kind of.
I remember that.
Yep. It didn't need it. I want to see if I can do it. It would work.
was beautiful. That was the most random thing then.
Yeah.
And I didn't even question it. I don't know what hole we were on. I don't know. Oh, it just was beautiful how it happened, because especially since I was not paying attention. I should have been like, there's OB left.
Yeah. Like, you should fall. I should have faded it in, actually.
Did we tell the people that's how we met yet?
No, we have not. I think that story. I'll start.
Was that the same day?
No, I was. That was at Good Park when I did the draw.
Oh,
yeah.
That is a course you would need it, but you chose it on the one hole you didn't.
Yeah. That's what it is. I was like, can I do this now? But I want to talk to when we I want to know your perspective of it. I'll talk about how when we pulled in. So I was with our buddy Ben Corson. Shout out Ben Corson. I hope you watch the podcast. And we showed up late. It was like 7. It was a really early tee time. Showed up late in Cuyahoga Falls, and when we're pulling up, and I saw this guy like on the first tee, like taking swings, dressed in all orange, and we immediately go, "Look at this guy!" Like, who is it, Ricky Fowler out here? And we go and we pay. We're running in, and they're like, "Hey, you guys are late." We're like, "Sorry, we got up late." They were pissed. They were not happy with us. And so Kory teed off, and they said, "Hey, you're with this guy." We're like, "Oh, okay." so we just roll up, and we're like, "Hey, like we're hitting with you. Can we just like hit this second shot?" And so he's like, "Yeah, whatever." Because Kory's just like, "Hey, it's just too far." We're like, "Oh wait, he's cool. Okay, that's awesome." And so I just missed the green. And then I chipped in. Okay? I chipped in, and it was,
just hitting, man.
Yeah, I chipped in, and Kory's like, wow, is that normal for you? And because like if you're getting a gauge, like when you call them, you're trying to get a gauge, like, are they good, are they bad?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, it's the first time I've ever done it.
Oh, the context to follow that. Yeah. Just wait till you hear my end.
Yeah. I can't wait. And then we just kept golfing, and then Kory was just absolutely killing us. Like he's a pro, and we're like, we broke 100. We were really, really happy.
Yeah.
And we're like, I think I asked you, I think maybe been 6 hole, like how are you so good? What'd you do? He goes, well, I have a secret. And we're like, what? Like, okay, what secret? He goes, I'm a PGA pro. Like, what? We're like, are you kidding? Because we're also playing like the normal tees. He was playing the back tees.
Oh no, dude, that's like an ultimate thing. It's like this. That's huge. Like you got to golf with your group. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, he asked, and we're like, yeah, you golf there. We're like, okay, this guy golf there. He's out driving us from the back tees. But when we rolled up late, what's your opinion? I've never asked you this before.
Complete story from the beginning.
All right, here we go. Here we go. I'm
I
excited.
get there, and I'm ready to play one of my favorite courses in the area. I don't know if I knew it was renovated or not yet at the time, but who cares at that point?
Would you mind if I ask? Sorry,
Yeah.
what course was this?
It's
Brookledge.
Yeah,
Oh,
In
Brooklyn.
Cuyahoga Falls.
Okay, sorry to interrupt.
It's I don't know. There's a lot of novelty to it. I like it a lot,
Mhm.
especially since now they put bunkers in new places. It's all done up nice. It's really nice. So I was getting ready. I was doing my whole stretching routine. Thank God you missed that part. It's an extensive stretching routine, but to be fair, I would, if I had a choice, because it was one of those mornings where I only had 15 minutes before, because I wasn't there that long.
Okay.
I didn't really putt or chip to warm up. I was only there for about 15 minutes, and so I had a choice. Do I hit a small bucket of balls at the range or do my stretch routine? Well, I never ask that question because I know the answer up front. I always do the stretch routine. I'm way more prepared up front if I do the full stretch routine than hitting a small bucket of balls. I know I'm going to do well that way. It's just there's a lot of boring reasons for that, technical reasons. But yeah, it's a crazy stretch routine. So I get done. I hit this. It was before the tee shot, and the starter comes up and says, "I don't know where the other two in your tee time are. I don't know where the other two blokes are." Well, he didn't say blokes. And I was like, "Oh, well, I didn't even know there were two other guys on the tee time, so that's all right." And, "Oh, you're a single? Okay, whatever, go ahead. And if they show up, I'll just put them behind you." Not what happened, because he goes, "Hey, they showed up. They're going to be here. They're going to play with you." I was like, okay. Change of plans. And that was after my tee shot already. So then you guys roll up, and you were like, hey, sorry, man. And instantly in my head, I'm just like, well, I've been exactly where they're at. So there was no way in my world, I was just going to be like,
Yeah.
because especially since this is long after I gave up competitive golf. So who flipping cares?
Yeah.
No, there's no reason to take anything that seriously. And I don't know if there was even anybody behind us. Eventually there was, but who cares? And so I see you guys tee off, and I see the tee shots. I'm like, all right, sure, that's fine, because I will play with just about anybody. And I know you would probably think PGA Professional they only want to play with really good golfers. I will play with anybody. It's interesting anyway, you know. Everybody's a case study. You're one of them. You and Ben were each a case study of their own. Different breeds of case studies. So we play along this hole, and every shot transpires, and then you chip in. And at this point, the reason I phrased it that way, is this normal for you? It's because I forgot that was normal for me.
Yeah.
I'm usually that guy.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, is there another heathen out there like me? Then like a demon all the time?
Yeah.
Because I am that guy who will chip in June and July of 2018, I chipped in 1.1 times per 9, which meant I chipped in more than once every time I played 9 holes all the way through.
That's insane.
It was just the way that I positioned the ball every time I hit or missed a green. I always missed on the short side. And the courses I was playing, the short side was everybody else's arch nemesis, but it was where I knew I was better with a wedge than I was with a putter. And boy, it'd show, because I would chip in on a regular basis. There's only one story I've heard that is like anywhere close to this, and it's Butch Harmon's dad. Claude Harmon could put it in from anywhere. He's a legend.
Yeah.
He's the real legend, I think, because that's how Butch credits everything to his father, Harmon. Harmon. They're all Harmon. Claude. So I asked that question because I was like, you know what? Maybe there's another freakish guy like me out there. No, I saw the rest of the game. Everything fell nicely into place.
Yeah.
The full flower blossomed, and I knew what species it was. That makes sense.
Yeah.
It was a dandelion, not a rose.
Beautiful moment. I remember when I was like deja vu when I said I have a secret. Because like 3 weeks prior, I was playing with other people, and they were like, how are you so good? I'm like, I have a secret. And it was on that hole, or the tee box after. And I was like, yes, I've been here before. And it did happen one other time after that. So there's something about playing that golf course where people figure it out by then. But at other golf courses, it never happens.
It's a hard course, and you were just killing it. Like it was so we're watching those tee shots. It was absolutely insane, but it was probably one of the best rounds of golf ever. Like not best for me, but it was the most fun. It was because whenever you go play with a new person, it's that like, are they gonna be cool? Are they gonna be like a douche? Like you
never know.
You never know. And it was so fun. We're just laughing, joking, talking, getting to know each other, talking about music. And this is
full on geeking out.
Oh, it was full geek. Like we got a number afterwards. Like it was awesome. And we were talking about like rock music, and like Ben's huge into rock. I listen to a lot of rock, but it's just different. And Kory just goes, you should check out this band called Kompass. We're like, oh, okay, yeah, well, I've never heard of it. Kompass with a K. And we're like, okay. And then I like look it up on Spotify. I can't find it. He goes, hey, it's right here. I'm like, okay. I look, 9 followers. Okay, who's this guy think he is? I'm like, this is his band. Like, this dude just told me to look. I'm like, and so we thought that there's no way this could be good. And so we're like, oh yeah, cool, yeah, like just being polite. And so then we get in the car, we're home. We're gonna test out this. Let's see what this is all about. We start playing the song, and we are shocked of how good it is. We are shocked. And he told us he's the lead singer. Like, there's no way this voice came from this man. And then you hit that high note in Chasing Ghosts. We turn the music off. We're cursing. No effing way that this is it. We're at a stop sign. We're shook, absolutely shook. Start the song over and listen to it again. Like it was like a dream. Like what actually just happened? Like it just didn't seem like possible. It was honestly, it's probably one of my favorite stories ever.
Really?
Oh,
I love that.
It's so fantastic.
I love that.
It's so funny.
Well, I didn't know how to tell you. I was like, do I tell him I'm a PGA professional and like rock singer? Do I say what else am I? Do I do like underwater crochet? Am I do I have a Guinness World Record that is held on Mount Everest, or what other eccentric stuff do you think I could fit in here? So I was like, it might sound too ridiculous. Just tell him to listen to the band. You know, there's something else.
It was so cool. But yeah, then we ended up listening to it like in words like shock, and we started talking to you, and we golfed a handful more times, and then we ended up like making a friendship from that, and then going to like when you had a concert. That was sick. But before we get too far into that, how did the band come about? You mentioned that music was always something you wanted to do, but you didn't sing in front of anybody till you were in 10th grade. So
12th grade.
12th grade. So how did that? Where'd that come from? Like when did you take that next step?
Well, getting a car was actually the biggest thing, because I had a lot of time to myself in the car that I could totally sing like an idiot and not have any consequences, right? You can sing horribly and do all this stuff that does not work out, but there are no consequences because there's no judgment. It's not like being in an apartment or a house with other people in it, and somebody's going to hear you, and they're going to ask if you're okay. That's just how it's going to end up being. And especially with the stuff I was trying. Oh, yeah. They would ask if you were healthy. Not. And going into college was the next big step up, because I had tons of time, 5 hours of drive time alone in the car. I really built my voice a lot in that car. And that was when I was around a lot of musicians, because, of course, the college has more musicians because of the music program than your high school does. You have people who play in marching band, but I'm not going to be in a ska band. I don't want a tuba player. I was a tuba player. So if I wanted one, I am one. Yeah. No, okay. But I wanted to be in a rock band, and fell into, a couple one-off projects. We just get this lineup of artists and come up with some songs, do one concert, disband, and do it all over again with new people. That was the way that it went, because everybody was too busy to have an ongoing band, And all the battle, there was one battle of the bands while I was there, but I didn't have a band to do that, because everybody else, I don't even know if they all went to that college. I think they were just like people around that did
yeah.
There was one college student in that band that was already from that area. So I don't know. I got to wet my feet a little bit with the live experience, the live singing experience, through those gigs, these one-off gigs, as I call them. And then when I got out of college, and I was sick of the golf industry after just 1 year.
That's
absolutely. I was like, you know what? There's no money in this, and the joy is like barely there. I'm just gonna try and go after my big life dream, because now at that time I felt like I had hit that first notch, the manifested light that I mentioned.
Yeah.
Because it had already happened. I'm a PGA professional. As soon as I got certified, I was like, time to start a band. It was impossible. There were not enough musicians that were good enough to do what I wanted to do, and what I wanted to do is probably 1/10 of what my band does now. So I was not really trying to do the most crazy stuff in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But oh my God, so I actually gave up trying to build my own band, and I offered myself out as a hired gun in the music business. Not an actual hired gun, but a hired gun in the music business is basically just a musician for hire. Whether you're a studio guy or a tour guy, that's up to how you propose it,
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how to reach out to people who are going on tour. I don't know. So it started as going out to a Facebook group, and then somehow I fell into other circles, only to be found on that Facebook group. Like, I circled back, and Max Zotti, my current guitarist, was the one who reached out. I said, "That's a really tall guy, a big Italian who looks like he's Nordic."
Jeez.
In context, Max Zotti is a guitar phenom who is born and raised in Italy, right? He's from there. And you can tell he's from there because he's still got this thick accent. But he doesn't look Italian because he's, 6'6", large barge, long blonde hair. He looks like a Viking. It's just like you don't want 250 pounds of pure beefy Italian sitting on you. And that's Max, man.
We talked to him for so long at the concert.
yeah, he's like...
And he plays guitar.
I feel like I'm at a family reunion in my band because everybody's taller than me.
And you're not that short of a guy.
Oh, I'm 6 foot.
Yeah.
I'm 6'8", and I'm the shortest. Except, there's one, the bassist is shorter than me, but he's wider than me. His bicep is as big as my head.
Oh my God.
Have you seen him?
I was when I saw your band, I had a couple drinks.
Yo, this guy's a bodybuilder. Well, he was.
Yeah.
He fell off the horse a little bit. His arm is still bigger than my head, but that's beside the point. Fell off the horse. He still can.
Yeah,
He used to participate in Highland Games.
Oh, geez,
Like,
those are,
adopted in America, Highland Games. Shut up, phone.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Man, we've had a few of those.
What happened?
Yeah, it's actually Rory McIlroy's PR team reaching out to us. I was like, we heard you over the waves. Are you talking about that one night?
About that one girl? No, it's not. No.
You know, all
Possibly know
PGA
about that.
Professional signed an NDA for this, didn't you?
Oh, no, I didn't sign anything. Joke's on you guys.
It was in the terms and service. Yeah.
I didn't sleep at that hotel. In
That's
case
probably
that
good.
matters. Yeah. So, yeah, I said I specialize on this Facebook page, rock, metal, and rock, metal. No, I think I said rock, blues, and R&B or something, which was not true.
I was going to say, what a mix.
Yeah.
Well, I was really, I guess it is true if you count Bill Withers and Marvin Gaye. Because I sang a lot of that. I haven't in a while. Well, I do still sing some Bill Withers because I just love Bill Withers. But he's like, you sound like our guy. Come try out. And the audition was I had to come up with new lyrics, new vocals for, and, they gave me an instrumental track, and I had to write all the vocals and lyrics to that. And audition with that. They would play that track live. Like, they wouldn't play the track on a machine and I sing to it. They play it.
Oh, wow.
So you go to the live coordination up front. And to me, I thought, well, that seems normal. And I go talk about it to other people. They're like, that seems like a lot for first go. But I nailed it because Max actually, I think I heard him slip a little bit when I hit this first high note in the song called Mountain King, which we don't do now. And it's one Max wrote. Max wrote all that music that we did that time around for that band. And that band turned into garbage because then we had a manager, but I ended up doing all the work. So, Max was like, I'm having to write music that is so dumbed down because we had a drummer that was not that great. Like, I've never in my life had to carry a drummer as a singer. I was just back there on stage like, trying to flick my bag.
Oh my God.
People were like, man, this guy's in it. Yeah. He's very good. So we left that and decided we were going to do our own thing. And Max was like, okay, I'm going to give you a chance to compose over some new music. You've never had anything like this before to compose over. Because it was in an odd time signature. It was in 7/8.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That is tough.
But the way he writes is smooth. Like,
Okay.
you don't know it's hard until you get behind the guitar to learn it, and you're like, wait a minute. That's not... How does he do that? Why does it skip like that? You don't know until you have to address it. We fired like 3 different guitarists who audition before they were even hired. Like, they audition, and it's like, yeah, you played that in 4/4, you're gone. You don't even know what we're doing. You played it at half speed in the wrong time signature. You only got the chords right. Some people didn't even have that. And so we just happened to find the best of the best people in the area. The bassist, we could never replace him. It's just like Max. You can't replace Max. If he would have been, Max always said, if I somehow die, if I somehow die and I don't make it, you have to continue without me. Sorry, Max. It's just, he doesn't do that all the time. But he does do that hands, He's like, you have to find someone. And we're like, yeah, we're finished if we have to, because who else is going to do that? So since we were doing everything ourselves for that other band, I said, let's just do it for ourselves. And we did. And that's how we formed this. And we looked for other musicians, but the bassist and drummer we have, they found us.
Okay.
They're the only musicians we kept. Everybody that we reached out and found, we eventually let go. One guy left on his own. That was it. But he admitted it was like, I had to practice for hours every day to keep up. I was like, I am very sorry.
Yeah.
And he had a very good musical noodle. He was in a professional marching band, like the Blue Coats, Canton Blue Coats, but not that exact band.
Yeah.
It was in Michigan, I think.
Okay. Similar caliber.
Yeah.
Huh?
Similar caliber to like what they're doing.
Oh yeah, same league, if you will.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The same conference.
Same planet.
It was the same conference. It's the same like competition sphere of competitive marching band.
I had no idea that existed.
It does. It's a different world. There's competitive like high school and college marching band, and then there's that.
Yeah.
You feel they use different tubas. They're called contras. They put them on the shoulders, and you feel wind.
Jeez.
And I know because I was about 40 rows up.
Yeah.
That's a pretty suitable distance.
Oh my gosh.
It was like the wind tunnel. A little bit like wind tunnel light. I was like, imagine what those guys down there.
Yeah. I could only imagine. So what's Kompass doing now? Like what's your, because you have the band now fully formed and you're making some music and you guys are, I see a little bit on Facebook, but what are you guys trying to do?
We're trying to make it. We're trying to go big.
I love your music. I mean, you saw us there at the concert. Like,
yeah,
it was,
it was hard not to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys switched from the Manifest Light to the Manifest Draft? You're off the light Manifest, now you're on the actual like draft beer of Manifest, where you're like really fully sending it with like the deep flavor and everything like that.
Wow, deep flavor. I like that.
You like that?
Sure, yes. Then I'm going to accept yes. Even though I'm not 100% on the same page with you, I'm going to agree with you because you said deep flavor or whatever that was. And I'm in. I'm on that.
That's the next.
Put me on that boat.
The next album name is Deep Flavor.
Deep flavor. That's not going to be the name of the next album. The next album's going to be weird. Not weird, but it's going to be wicked.
Yeah.
It's going to be like
album.
Tangy flavor.
It'll be a smorgasbord is what it'll be.
Oh, there you go.
When's that dropping? Do you have like a time frame? You guys
Listen, we don't have a time frame because we actually finished the first album already, but nobody knows.
Oh. You heard it here first.
Yeah, you're hearing it first. You don't even know that we have 7 songs out, but we have 8, 9, and 10 long done. But we're not going to release them until we have a little bit more of a fan base that's paying attention. Another thing, and this is not going to be said anywhere else.
Exclusive.
We are
exclusive
re-recording everything that we've already done.
Really? Yeah.
Because I've listened to some of my vocals, and I know I can do better if I'm stoned at this point. I'm not going to get stoned. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm going to get stoned and I'm going to do better. I'm going to do so much better if I get stoned. No, that's not it. I'm saying that even if I was stoned now and that would put me absolutely out, I would be so incapable, I would still sing better now, compromised, than I did at my best back then.
Uh-huh.
So I really want to make sure that if I'm going to put something out there, and it's going to be for the people, they should get the best of what they're getting, especially since we're not using auto-tune, but the world out there has become sort of, I don't know if this is offensive or not, shouldn't be, but the world has become artistically and musically autistic in a way. You really, I love that. I can promise you, especially from a music marketing standpoint, the people who genuinely love music are in such a minority because people get caught by just sound waves. And especially if you go from like the loudness war approach, don't worry, that's just a problem for older producers. The loudness war is basically, since the 90s, music has been released at slightly louder volumes.
Huh. I didn't even know that.
I did not.
Yeah. And I really wish it wasn't called the loudness war, even though that's exactly when you know what the concept is. You're like, oh yeah, that is what it is. I just wish it didn't sound like a conspiracy theory. But it's just a problem. It was a really annoying problem for the producers because they knew that as they released albums and songs and singles, at louder relative decibel volumes. That might be redundant, but that as they released it more and more and more and more and more, you got farther away from what was considered the best, the best standard for music production.
Mm-hmm.
Good quality of music production was being left in the dust because they found out, hey, if you just release stuff that's louder and louder, people will think it's better and they'll listen to it that way. And it's an interesting thing because right now we should be at the convergence point where you can only go so far because you can't expand the capacity of the track. So once you get to a point where the master track is so saturated, it'll just sound like... And we already have crossed that threshold sometimes, and it's so hard. So, I mean, there's a lot of ways that we have abandoned what is considered the gold standard for music, for good music production and good composition. And especially from the composition front, we want to be on the forefront of what we think is the best. And as progsters, progressive music, progressive rock music, instead, if you don't know what prog is, not the city Prague. We're very music elitist. Like we think we're the best because if you ask us, we'll say we are the best, because if you're like just a 4-on-the-floor drummer and then you take out Mike Portnoy, get ready to be destroyed. It's inhumane what you would do. You put a regular drummer up next to Portnoy.
Yeah.
Because even when Portnoy is just playing in 4/4, he's a monster. Same thing with like Neil Peart, but Neil Peart was from Rush, and that's another progressive rock band. So I don't know. I guess that we want to make it for a reason. Everybody wants to be a rock star, but we want to be a rock star. We all want to be rock stars to achieve something, to make waves, and to change something. That's big.
That's awesome. Where can people find your music? You have a website. I know you have Facebook.
Do we have a website anymore? I should get one. Yeah. How about I get one for you people?
There you go. Get it?
Yeah.
Make it in 2 weeks and then we'll link it.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Yeah.
What else have I've done crazier things. I learned CAD in 3 days. So I can do that. That was a stupid 3 days. But yeah, you can find it on Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, and actually everything else, because there are some platforms we're on that I've never even heard of. If you're on Tidal, hey.
We will link definitely the Spotify at least, and probably
and be sure to show them the logo.
Oh yeah, there you go. Show
I can pop that up.
Good deal. Right over me face.
Just send it to Mike's phone, and we'll be golden.
I'm on your face.
Yeah, you're gonna put it on.
It's around.
This has been a fantastic podcast.
It's been absolutely amazing. Once that album drops, I'd love to have you back on, talk about it.
Maybe it'll be a while. I don't know. It depends on what happens.
Yeah.
Your social media marketing thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot. I mean,
it's our least favorite thing to do.
Yeah, we're trying to figure it out now here and try to get bigger. We're seeing some great growth, but it's not easy. But it's fun, like working together as a group of guys and towards looking for purpose.
We're on the manifest light right now. We're trying to get to that deep flavor.
We will get to that deep flavor. But this has been fantastic.
I think now there's going to be a song called Deep Flavor.
All right, guys. Well, this has been podcast number 375. We're out.